What's up, everybody? Andrew Steele here with...
And you got Big Tony.
And today we want to talk to you guys about whether it's a good idea or not to rent your RV. Those of you that follow the channel, we're hanging out back in South Dakota, and one of our clients today was telling us about their Outdoorsy experience. And I've got another friend that's been managing a coach on Outdoorsy for one of his clients. I want to tell you two completely opposite stories and completely opposite experiences of people that are renting their coaches out on Outdoorsy, and the good and the bad of renting your coach out on Outdoorsy. First, we'll talk about the coach that we just detailed. One of the big reasons these folks don't want to rent this Integra is, if you look behind me, there's a whole bunch of damage. And if that reason isn't enough for you, this side got damaged on another rental. This coach was only rented out 4 times, and 2 of the 4 times had pretty significant damage in the same area on basement bays. Big Tony, what did you think of that damage on the side there?
You know, I was very curious until he just told me. Wow, it was pretty brutal.
So these folks rented their RV out 4 times. They've got a beautiful Integra. We just detailed it. And I talked to the gentleman, and he said never again. And they had 2 major scrape marks on both sides. And
up and down.
So those 2 scrape marks, that's the main reason that he doesn't want to rent his RV out again. The big thing is not only they repair it, and he said the Outdoorsy insurance is really good, so they do pay to get it repaired, but they don't take into consideration the amount of time that coach spends in the shop while it's being repaired. So that's missed revenue on Outdoorsy because the coach is being repaired, and you can't really rent a coach out with these huge gouges down the side of them. So the other big thing that the gentleman said, that the reason that he doesn't like renting his coach out was he would get phone calls all the time, people asking how to use the systems. And as a diesel pusher owner myself, I can only imagine the learning curve. I've owned this coach for 6 months, and every time I get behind the wheel, I'm still like a little bit nervous. Like there's a lot of systems. You got your air systems, you've got hydraulic systems. There's a lot going on here. So to try to teach somebody how to operate all of those systems in just a quick introduction is really difficult, and that led to this gentleman getting all kinds of phone calls at all hours of the day and night with different problems in the coach, which as a diesel pusher owner, I've had those problems, and I end up on YouTube. But as a rental owner, you're kind of responsible to answer those questions. The other big thing is just the amount of money that they were getting and the headaches that they were having. It just wasn't worth it. These are expensive machines, and they depreciate quickly, and you can charge for them, but for these folks, they did it 4 times for the amount of money. Even though they were able to charge, I think, $700 a day or $800 or even a little bit more, they did not think it was worth for them. But we've got another buddy back in Arizona, our buddy Brian, that's actually had an opposite experience. Brian's going to tell you guys about how he's had a successful Outdoorsy experience over the 2 years, or one of his clients has had a successful outdoor experience over the last couple years, and how much money he's made, and we're going to give you the whole breakdown of the pluses and minuses of that. So right now, I'm on the phone with a good friend of mine, Brian, that has helped manage one of his clients' coaches through Outdoorsy, and he's going to tell me a little bit about his experience. Brian, what kind of coach does your client have?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Andrew. My Outdoorsy customer that has actually had tremendous success with renting out his rig on Outdoorsy. He has a little Mercedes Via. And one of the reasons I believe that this particular guy has been so successful is the type of rig that he has put up there for folks to rent. It's something that is very easy to drive. So if you're someone that you're looking at taking a vacation and, you know, you've never really driven an RV, you're looking to possibly, go on a vacation and rent an RV, you really don't want to get something that would be intimidating, that you feel is, I don't know if I can really manage this on the highway. So this little Mercedes-Benz Via has been absolutely phenomenal for this particular customer.
And how long has he had that Mercedes Via on Outdoorsy?
I would say just a little bit over 2 years now. We've been taking care of his rig, and it goes out frequently. I mean, there are times where it's rented out for months on end. So,
and how many miles has been put? How many miles did that rig have when he started putting it on Outdoorsy, and how many miles does it have on it now?
I believe when we first started cleaning Jim's rig, it had about 8,000 miles. And now has upwards of 40+ thousand, so roughly 20,000 miles a year. But he also gives them a mileage allowance, and then anything over that mileage allowance, they do pay per mile. So you do get compensated if someone does go on a nice long trip.
And do you know what type of revenue what type of annual revenue he's brought in over those 2 years of renting out that Winnebago Via on Outdoorsy?
Yeah, great question, Andrew. Last year, Jim told me he just broke just north of $23,000 renting out his Via.
And that's in 1 year or in 2 years?
That was in 1 calendar year.
1 calendar year. And do you know what his maintenance costs were on that vehicle over that calendar year?
Okay, another great question. I believe that he probably put about $2,500. Maximum $3,000 in maintenance into the vehicle. It's, there are certain things that he had to have, oil changes, of course. I think he had a couple hubcaps pop off, maybe change the tires out. But
washing the rig, I'm sure he spent a lot of money with you washing the rig.
He does, but he also bills that into the rental fee. So he just tells them that there's a cleaning charge that will be automatically billed to you. So the folks know they really like that, actually, because they don't have to, find a car wash in a town they're not familiar with. They just bring the rig back, top off the tank of diesel fuel, and bring it back, drop it off, and we take care of all the cleaning, get it cleaned up for them before it goes back out for the next client. And Jim has had great success, but one of the things I will add, if anyone out there is considering putting up their rig on Outdoorsy, a couple of things you want to keep in mind. Jim has told me that his RV has taken a severe beating over the past couple of years. There are scratches that go down the side of it. Just anytime you rent something out to folks that don't own it, it's not going to be cared for the way that you would care for it. So have the idea and be prepared that it's going to take a little bit of abuse out there, especially if it goes out frequently.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
Yeah, so if you're the type of person that's very particular and you like things a certain way, then I would pretty much tell you probably don't want to rent your rig out on Outdoorsy.
Definitely not.
It will come back with scrapes, and there's going to be things that you're going to need to fix. It's just one of those, realities of the situation you're going to have to deal with.
Now, one of the other things that one of the other Outdoorsy renters mentioned to me was that they got a lot of phone calls asking how to operate the rig. How do you guys deal with taking in and fielding phone calls all different hours when people need stuff to work? How does that work?
You know what? Another great question. Yes, you will definitely be getting phone calls from customers. Keep in mind, a lot of these folks are first-time RVers. They don't really have experience with, all of the multiple things that you learn. You talk to anyone that has been an RVer, and they will tell you it took over a year to learn all the ins and outs of operating their motor coach, and they learn things with every trip they go on. So you can imagine someone that's never driven an RV coming in for the first time, renting an RV. There's going to be some things that they will need help on. And basically what we do, I have assisted Jim in this process multiple times, is when you meet the customer to hand over the keys, you try to do a walk around of the vehicle, showing them everything that you can, how to put the slide out, how to fold the beds out, how you would go about topping off the DEF tank if they get a warning saying the DEF is low. basically you try to just go through your head and think of anything that you could come across, so these folks feel that, they're prepared for every situation. But I will say one thing Jim did after about a year of having his rig on Outdoorsy is he made a YouTube video of showing people the little ins and outs of what to do, and just refers them like, hey, if you have any questions before calling me, just go on to YouTube and watch this video. If that doesn't answer your question, then give me a call and I'll help you out.
Very wise. Yeah, that's some great input there from someone that's been renting their RV out for 2 years. And any other advice that you can think of, someone that's considering renting out their RV on Outdoorsy?
Absolutely. I would say the most important thing that you will need to keep in mind whenever you rent out your rig, the one thing that will get you traction and populate your rig at the top of the list is top reviews. So if this is something you're considering doing and you put your rig out there, you need to be asking every single person that takes the rig out to please give you a review. And hopefully it's going to be a 5-star, hands down, great service, great experience review, because that in and of itself was what took Jim from, getting a hit every couple of weeks to having a waiting list that's 12 people long. But I did notice one time he had a guy that gave him a bad review. A guy was driving from Phoenix up north to Flagstaff. Headlight went out. He couldn't get a hold of Jim, so he wrote a really bad review for him. And that one bad review had a significant impact on the amount of traffic that he started getting after that. It wasn't until he had 4 or 5 customers after the bad review giving him 5-star reviews that he started to regain that traction. So there's no doubt that the folks that rent out the rigs, what they say about your rig and the experience they had will have a tremendous impact on how many people look at your rig as a potential rental.
Hey, Brian, that's some great information. I greatly appreciate you sharing that inside wisdom of a couple years of helping manage an outdoor RV rental. Anything else you could think of for the YouTubers out there, buddy?
Yeah, I would just say that, if you're considering doing this works great. You go on to Outdoorsy and look at the RVs in your area. Depending on where you're located at in the country, you'll see what rigs are renting frequently, and give you kind of an idea of the daily and weekly price they're going out on. It's a great way that if you're struggling making payments, if you still owe the bank money on your rig, you know what? Maybe a few scratches down the side, a little bit of abuse is not a big concern. If you're able to cover your monthly payment and also put a little bit of money back in the bank, I think it's a great idea for someone to look at financially assisting them and getting that note paid off. Now, if you're a customer that has a very high-end motor coach, you're pulling, 45-foot tag axle, $500,000+ bus, I really don't think that would be something that would be beneficial for you. You're going to have to charge so much money to cover the costs of all the possibilities of things that could go wrong that it's going to be difficult to rent a big RV out. Plus, there's not a lot of people that feel comfortable getting behind the wheel of a 45-foot tag axle rig that they don't own.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great point you make there. So, hey, Brian, I greatly appreciate you taking the time.
No, thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you having me on today. And hey, safe travels, everyone. Keep buying those RVs. We love seeing you out there on the roads.
And appreciate all of you watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more RV-related content. We're back in the RV world. I know a lot of you did not like the car videos. They weren't getting nearly as many views as the car stuff. So we're going to try to get a lot of good RV content for you guys.
I just let you guys know, thanks for watching our video today. Please subscribe.
Hey, we appreciate you guys. Have a great day.